With less than 2 weeks to go to the World Championships, the Disc Golf Pro Tour is headed east. We go from Illinois to Burlington, Kentucky, just south of Cincinnati, for the LWS Open at Idlewild, presented by Dynamic Discs and the Natty. The last three-round tournament of the season is already underway. We've got some hot scores already out on the course. Let's go right out and check out the 18th Ben Calloway, who is coming off of 7 straight birdies, going for 8 in a row to close out his day and get to double digits under par. Beautiful upshot under the low ceiling to make it 8 straight. He's got it. So he is your early leader at 10 under par. He's got a 2-shot lead over Harper Thompson and Gavin Phillips, who are sitting at 8 down. Greg Barsby, Emerson Keith, 8 Scott. Good rounds going. Ben Calloway is your Innova Hot Round leader right now in round number 1 as we welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Hello, everybody. Alongside Brian Earhart, I'm Charlie Eisenhood, and we've got a great course here, and we're going to see amazing scores this weekend because the weather is perfect right now, Brian.
Finally. I feel like every single year that we come here, we get some scary weather, we get some lightning delays, we have the players uncertain of whether or not they're going to get the whole weekend in.
They just play in the dark. It's all good.
They play in the dark. It's all good. This weekend looks beautiful. And this is a course where the course record is 14 under par. Anything can happen out here, and I'm so excited. 7 unique winners in 7 tournaments here.
Well, let's take a look. The Glow Golf from from last year, they had delays, and these guys didn't want to end the round early and have to come back early in the morning and finish their round, so they said, you know what, we don't care what the rules are. We're going to just get these discs glowing and finish this round.
We got to give props to the camera. That's working overtime here. What a finish.
Now, Ganon Buhr was on that card, and he has been magnificent this season. He's the defending champion here at Idlewild. He's also coming off the win at Ledgestone. He's also coming off the major win at the European Open. Brian, I feel like it's become clear in these last 2 months that he is number 1 in the world.
Hands down, and he knows it. And he looked at me at the press conference earlier this week and said, I want to be the greatest player that's ever lived. And the way he's carrying himself and thinking about his career in this sport with all the spotlight on him, the target on his back, he's handling it perfectly. He played masterfully at Ledgestone. Look at this chop shot on a really risky hole number 2 at Lake Eureka. He picked this course apart, and this never goes away. I mean, perfect speed, dropping it in on the weak side. His game just continues to evolve, Charlie.
Well, and as he's adapted to a new bag, he's adding shots to the quiver. You know, I'm going to be really interested to see how he attacks Idlewild now that he's throwing hyzer flips, something that he wasn't really doing last year.
He was joking when he would execute one. He would say, oh, look at me, I'm the hyzer flip guy now. And now an entire new arsenal of shots has opened up for him. What I'm curious, Charlie, to key in on is his decision-making this week. He won this tournament last year. So does he need to change his game plan? Is he naturally going to shift to lines that he's maybe not thrown in competition before out here? Curious to see if he does struggle with any indecisiveness.
We are entering the Ice Age. Take a look. This is 4-round tournaments this season. He has won 4 of the 5. They always say, Brian, cream rises to the top at these longer tournaments, and we're certainly going to get that test at Worlds in less than 2 weeks. But only Champions Cup has been a stumbling block for him in 4-round tournaments. Otherwise, he's blowing people out at some of these tournaments.
Absolutely blowing people out at these tournaments. And for a while, it didn't even look like he was bringing his best stuff. I mean, I remember at Waco, he was coming to me after every round saying, my putt's feeling terrible, my backhand feels terrible, I don't feel like I'm in control of my game. Recently, Charlie, he's looking me in the eye and saying, I feel good.
Well, we heard from Ganon Buhr in the press conference yesterday where he was talking a little bit about, you know, how he's become more dominant and also how he's dealing with criticism from people online. Let's listen.
I definitely look at the comments and stuff like that, and I want to almost prove people wrong. Sometimes I respond to the comments just because I think it's funny. My biggest pet peeve is, like, people saying stuff that isn't true about me, and so that's, like, then I definitely, I'll let them know, like, hey, that's not actually how that went down, or that's not true. if you just watch just disc golf tournaments, you probably don't really know my personality that well. And so, you know, if you maybe do a little more research, you'll know a little bit more about me before, I guess, getting angry at me when I play just on the course. But, you know, I can see how I come across on the course. I know it's something I'm trying to fix every single day. But, yeah, I think if you have haters, you're doing something right.
Brian, do you agree with that assessment?
It's a very mature way of handling it. He says, you know what? I am working on it. I hear what these people are saying. I hear what they're criticizing me about, and I'm slowly working on it, but I see this little smirk on his face. He doesn't take it too seriously. He realizes that he is a product. Professional athletes are a product of entertainment, and I love that this early in his career, he's understanding that and knowing it's not that personal.
He has to go up against history this weekend, however. We've gone 7 years with 7 different winners at Idlewild. Can he make it 2 for 2? We'll find out coming up.
Ricky, distance driver in hand. What? What just happened? What just happened? Wysocki blows up the basket on the 16. I don't know what that is, but it definitely bombs.
Yeah, sure.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
The number one reason I switched from bag to cart is pretty simple. It takes weight off of my back, easier to play a course.
I realized that the cart became something I really needed when little things would happen. I'd pick up my bag and my elbow would hurt.
Using a cart decreases the bending over, the weight on my lower back.
Decide to go with Suka, and seeing that my sciatic nerve is gone and I don't need to worry. Only one thing I have to worry about to get birdie, because my Suka done it all for me.
Disc sport and Innova share the same values and understanding how the sport should grow.
Rene has always been a great partner of Innova. His vision of disc golf in Estonia and the Baltic region is exactly what we're looking for.
Our goal would be to grow the sport, grow the brand, so that eventually, in the long run, Innova will be #1 in Europe again.
Kingdom, not so different from your own. A prince of southern royalty was born of the plastic stone.
The LWS Open at Idlewild is presented by Dynamic Discs, Be Dynamic, and the Natty Disc Golf, Cincinnati's home for disc golf. You are watching the Disc Golf Network, round 1 action here at the LWS Open at Idlewild. Getting ready for our second feature card. Ilken Grow on the card today. Let's flash it back. Ilkengro, maybe you remember his name from the 2022 Junior World Championships.
He really impressed me when I watched him play this tournament. I mean, the way he moves the disc shows a lot of maturity. You can tell he grew up playing woods golf out there in the Cincinnati area.
He went on to win the 2022 Junior Worlds. He's also an amateur national champion, and he's been climbing the boards, rating going up year after year, and he's only been playing for 4 years, Brian.
Joined PDGA 2020. Rating has not gone down in any updates since then. He's at 10-12 now. When he won the Junior Worlds of 2022, he was 977. It's just been a steady climb to the top. Very interested to see how his game shakes out today.
Well, he's going to be on the card with some heavy hitters. Calvin Heimburg, Andrew Marweed, and Ezra Robinson joining him on the second feature card. We're going to send it down to hole 1 and get the introductions.
First up in the chase card, 340 pairing out of Safety Harbor, Florida, Calvin Heimburg.
Slight tailwind out there. A little bit downhill. 638 comes up real quick here.
Calvin finished second at Idlewild last year.
Look at this.
Absolute smash from Calvin. He's going to have a look at the eagle if he wants to run it.
Up second out of Cincinnati, Ohio, Ilkengro.
Just down the road from Cincinnati. Here he is. Second feature card.
Conservative.
Third on the box out of Alpena, Michigan, Andrew Marweed.
Man, Marweed has come so close to winning this tournament.
Third place in 2020, second in 2021.
And Wysocki had told me earlier in the week that he throws 14 of 18 sidearms out here on this course off the tee. So this sets up flawless for the way Marweed plays.
Gets the green flag.
Rounding out the feature card out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, Ezra Robinson.
What a season Ezra Robinson is having so far.
This will be a huge test. All backhand players really have to work hard out here, and it can be done. Obviously, his brother Isaac's taken this tournament down. Well, that's the 13 speed. That's got to keep going.
That's a big shot. So we are off with the second feature card. Going to send it down now to the third member of our broadcast team. Nate Perkins is walking with Andrew Marweed. Nate?
Andy here, walking on hole 1. I recall a pretty epic finish a few years back. What kind of memories do you have of, your tournament that year and, the playoff with Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's one of my best memories playing. It's my closest chance to a win, losing in a playoff. Overall, a tremendous experience nonetheless, and hoping just to take that confidence, even though it was a few years ago, into today and this weekend.
Yeah, how's the game feeling right now? Just a little chip forehand here on 1. What do you think you're left with on this approach?
It depends. I was a little closer to that tree than I thought, but, I don't mind playing it nice and safe on the first hole. And this course in general, I think I throw maybe 13, 14 forehands off the tee, so a lot more attackable holes than laying up at Ledgestone last week. So, cool. Yep, excited for it.
Thanks so much, Andy. Good luck.
Well, we're getting to the part of the season, Brian, where Andrew Marweed starts to be near the top of the leaderboard. As we jump ahead to the 4th, Simon Lizotte got an eagle on hole 1. Hit a putt from outside circle 2. This for par. A lot of chains, but bounces out left. He will bogey.
Wind's feeling about 5-10 miles an hour. Some of the gusts maybe getting up to 15. Perkins down on the ground. Can you confirm? Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, it feels pretty calm, but when it does gust, it gets up there close to 15. And really the humidity, can't stress enough how difficult it is to find your grip on the tee and inside the circle.
Long roll for Marweed into the bush and out the backside. So a very long putt coming up for Marweed, even though he nearly dropped it under the basket.
Yeah, that slope comes up quick. You kind of want to hit right at the edge of circle one if you're coming in with that kind of angle. Pretty sure he knew he missed it pretty quick out of the hand.
Also ended up going out of bounds for Marweed off that backside as Groh also pushes it long into this green, maybe a little bit of nerves.
It's an interesting par four, if you can even call it that. I mean, a lot of the players, even in this field being professionals, aren't going to get to circle one here for an eagle look. But getting a four does not feel like it's a par. It feels like you failed, you made a mistake, and it really leaves a weird taste in your mouth going to the second hole.
One of the easiest starting holes on tour. Here's Heimburg. I'm not going to run it from this far out, but he will chip up and have a short birdie putt.
Yeah, I think keeping the stress levels low out here is something that someone like Calvin knows all too well. You can get behind on this course real quick, and because the course record's 14 down, you know pretty quickly when you're out of the tournament.
Ezra pitches up, and he'll have a drop-in birdie. Well, it's another beautiful day here in Burlington. Expecting similar conditions throughout the weekend. Ricky Wysocki going to play this event, even though he is dealing with some shoulder issues. Ooh, there's a little signed Ricky 2X card right there. What'd that go for on eBay?
I'm not one to ask.
Neither am I. Marweed's going to have to pitch up and around the bushes, maybe try to give this a run to save par. A very disappointing bogey coming for Marweed on hole one.
Especially when you're going for the conservative play out of the hand, too. You want to actually get it right, throw the same shot on the second, and just couldn't capitalize on that. Definitely one of the easier holes in the course. This is a birdie look for Groh, but almost looks a little too obstructed. Yeah. It's going to be a big day for Ilkin. I think he shows a lot of promise, especially once you get into these back wooded holes. He's such a wizard with the putter in the mid-range. Looking forward to seeing him perform on the big stage this week.
He's in for par. Calvin to open up his day with a birdie. And he is in. Marweed in for bogey, and Ezra Robinson with an easy birdie to start his day. 3 top 5s for Calvin at Idlewild, but no wins. He'd love to take it down this weekend. Greg Barsby coming in on the 18th. He'll have a circle's edge putt. for a par, sitting 2 shots back of the lead at 8 under par. Feature card coming up right after this.
I'm down by 2 with 2 holes to go. Should I use my last 2 driving chips, or should I save them for the final tee shot?
Time delay, dude. That's a courtesy violation.
That's a stroke. You're down by 3 now, potty mouth.
What?
If you want to know what a disc is going to feel like before you get it, you have to check out OTB disc. The first thing I'm looking for when I grab a new disc is the feel of the disc. It's got to be confidence instilled. Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
It's really, really helpful in not only finding a disc that looks beautiful, but is also exactly what you're looking for it to feel like. Of course, when you're dealing with OTB, you're going to get only the best.
A moment ago, we saw Greg Barsby on the 18th to close out his round, and he knocks it down. So the double bogey on 11, matched by the eagle on 12, and altogether it puts him 2 shots off the lead at this point in the round. Make sure you sign up for Disc Golf Network if you don't already have a subscription. The World Championships are less than 2 weeks away. It all starts August 21st in Lynchburg, Virginia. And you can save 25% off your first month with code DGN25. Just scan that QR code. And hey, you can watch Idlewild, Worlds, and D-Glow with 1 month of subscription. It's a no-brainer. All right, back to the course. Andrew Marweed throwing his second on hole 2.
This basket's pretty far tucked. I like the forehand for the most part. Wonder if he's actually going to try to access the bullseye or just try to stick himself on the edge of C1. Yeah. Solid work.
Robinson's second. He's going to play the backhand along the slope.
Oh, I love watching him match the slope with the angle of the shot. Nicely done.
Edge of the circle for Robinson. Heimburg's might have caught something on the way into the green there.
Grass just looks really lush on this green. It looks like even playing with the slope, you're not going to get a big skip down. Ilkin, big flex. Yeah.
Circle's edge. And here is Ganon Buhr, world number 1. He tees off after the break.
So you want to throw further. Okay, here's the plan. Step 1, join the Power Disc Golf Academy. Step 2, watch Holland Hanley's lessons on how to properly select discs that are appropriate for your skill level. Step 3, watch Paul Ulibarri's X-Step lessons to help you build a solid foundation for generating power. Step 4, watch Simon Lazat's lessons on upper body mechanics to make sure you're giving the disc the best opportunity for distance. Step 5, watch Ezra Aderhold's max distance lessons to build your most powerful swing. Step 6, use our fieldwork drills to dial it all in. And the last step, go out and crush your personal best distance record. Ready? Go.
The FAR Ultiworld Disc Golf Fandom Survey is now open. Now in its 3rd year, the survey has expanded and is being run by the team at First Available Research. This is your chance to share your opinions as a member of our awesome disc golf community with questions about players, media, discs, and so much more. Results from the survey will be published in Ultiworld Disc Golf this off-season. The survey is only open for a limited time, so scan the QR code or go to discgolfsurvey.com to take it now and let your voice be heard.
Your rating is one of the most valuable things you get with a membership. This gives you accurate numbers to track how well you've been doing and your overall improvement in the game. You also get a member number when you register with the PDGA. Your PDGA number is a stamp for when you got involved in the sport. It's a badge of pride for players and a part of your disc golf identity. Get your number today. Visit pdga.com/join.
Welcome back to DGN's live coverage of round 1 of the LWS Open at Idlewild. Andrew Marweed putting for birdie on the 2nd. Well done. Back to even. Andrew Marweed has come close to winning this tournament, Brian. He went to a playoff with Kyle Klein in 2021. This is the final round, hole 18. Look at that shot from Kyle. How do you get it through there?
You don't split that, especially from that far back in the fairway. That's just a clutch shot. And then you don't want to go to a playoff with this man, Marweed. Anywhere on the green is fair game for him.
He drops in the big putt on hole 1, but a little off the mark on the approach shot in the 2nd. Klein steps up. Slides it into the circle.
The talent that we see year after year from Michigan is just I can't say astounding because it makes sense with how many courses there are, but man, they produce some phenomenal woods throwers.
Masters Worlds for MA40.
I've seen him grinding with the Kobe putts.
Oh, he was. Dude, he was. He was putting, he was doing 500 putts a day.
Yeah, the
and
edits.
And then he was, and then once he lost that, he got second. He just got burnt out.
The edits were unreal. Like work hard every day. See results.
We haven't had any repeat champions at Idlewild since the event started in 2017. There's basically the only tournament on the Pro Tour that even comes close to meeting that criteria.
And with the winners we have, James Conrad, Macbeth, Kevin Jones, Eagle McMahon, Kyle Klein, Robinson, Ganon Buhr. Who sticks out as someone that surprises you winning this tournament?
Well, it's interesting. Looking back at the list now, none of them. But at the time, I mean, this was Kyle Klein's first win on tour. And we've seen that, right? Isaac Robinson gets his first win on tour here at Idlewild. And it felt like it's been a springboard for some of these players. Even if you look at some, just was James Conrad's first win too in 2017. So we'll see what happens this year. Maybe we'll get a new first-time winner.
First up in the 4 o'clock pairing out of Urbandale, Iowa, Ganon Buhr.
It's funny you say that. Ganon said he surprised himself winning this tournament last year. I think it's a course that players respect deeply and know that you have to bring your game and you can't let up for just a second. I like that choice from Ganon.
Next up out of Greenwood, Arkansas, Kevin Jones.
Let's go, Kevin!
Yeah, it's difficult to get it all the way into the circle, so maybe not worth risking the OB.
Yeah, they've pinched the OB just a tiny bit, but what I like about this is it gives you the opportunity to stretch it out still if you want. It opens up towards the green. Kevin just going flick. Been playing great since the bag switch, Charlie.
Yeah, really looked good last week at
Up third out
Ledgestone.
of Scottsdale, Arizona, Richard Wysocki.
When Ricky told me that he is treating this tournament just like any other tournament, even with Worlds coming up soon, I fully believe him.
It's one of the few times we're going to see him throw backhand off the tee today. That's leaking left. And he gets the early red flag.
And rounding out the 4 o'clock card out of Spring Lake, Michigan, Kyle Klein.
Actually surprised that Ricky threw the backhand there. He said his arm was hurting when he throws the backhand. Maybe it was just a bit of a litmus test for him. But we might see some of those undercommitted shots from him if he keeps leaning on the backhand.
Good spot for Kyle Klein. Short approach. Looking for a birdie on this soft par 4. Take another look here at Ricky's backhand that goes OB left.
Yeah, I mean, this happens. Like, you're hurt. You're afraid of actually giving it the full commitment because you're afraid that commitment will cause you pain. And it happens. This could very well be a litmus test to see how it's feeling today. It's far enough up there to where a 4 is just fine.
So, Nate, we know Ricky's not quite at 100% right now. Obviously, we see him lose that one left into the OB. Any thoughts on his decision to play this weekend as we are getting this close to the World Championships?
Yeah, I don't doubt his decision to play. I mean, he's a fierce competitor and knows what he's capable or not capable of, but I'm surprised to see him go with the backhand early. Yesterday in the press conference, he said he's going to be throwing mainly forehand because the shoulder is still bothering him, and if any hole is okay to throw forehand and get yourself in position for birdie, it's here on 1. So I think Brian's right there that maybe he is just kind of testing it early to see what he's going to have today with the backhand.
Got to keep an eye on that throughout the round. Thanks, Nate. Up to 3. Second shot for Marweed on the par 4.
Oh yeah, that's so good. Bullseye for Marweed. Back to Ricky. And again, he threw it far enough to where he has these trees to contend with, but up and down should be pretty inevitable for him.
Clean up shot from Ganon Buhr.
Made that for me. The guy said it took him 14 hours.
14-hour die right there. Check it out. Legos with the Buhr on it. That is a cool disc. So Ricky puts it under the basket. There it is again.
Now, Charlie, talk about single-mindedness of a professional athlete. This is the only thing that creeps into his mind other than disc golf still. It's really the only thing he says he spends his money on, Legos.
You can spend some real money on Legos.
I think Legos knows that.
I don't know if he can spend as much as Ganon Buhr's been making this year, but
it's been a pretty impressive stretch so far, that's for sure.
Inside the circle for Ilk and Grow. Jones for birdie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no explanation for that one. That's just a complete misfire there for Jones.
And you can see how badly he wished he could jump putt that. All the body language was a jump putt and then didn't jump and
it's a tough distance.
Left.
He's one of those guys that would prefer to be just outside circle one than just inside. It's a tough distance. And now look where he is now. This is for a tough par.
So Jones looking at a bogey. Ganon Buhr keeps it rolling. Birdie on 1. KJ in for the bogey. Nice start for Klein as well. Ricky saves par after going OB on the tee shot. Back to the third. Hook and Grow in for the birdie. He gets to 1 down. Back-to-back birdies for Andrew Marweed. We head to the tee of the second. Well, we're talking a little bit about Ganon Buhr's earnings so far this year, but look at the lifetime here. This is from MPO Elite Series and Majors only. Players that are close to getting to 70 starts at Elite Series and Majors. And look at the cash list over there on the right-hand side.
I mean, this is right place, right time to be peaking as a player. I mean, he's made $104,406 already this year. And even just myself thinking about touring back in 2018, if you had a season where you made over $10,000 in prize money, you were one of the better players out there on the tour. It's phenomenal to see how far the game has come in so many avenues. But that $104,000, Charlie, that's 122 Millennium Falcon Lego sets. I like the choice to go backhand here. It's very interesting. Oh, he goes roller. I forget about that. He tries to push the water. It's creeped over just a bit right, but he has an opportunity from there. Had that same play last year. Now Klein. We were talking about how underrated Klein's forehand truly is, and that's just perfection. It's right about 400 to get to the water, so they're in a pretty good spot. They're throwing about 350 to get to that flat area. A lot of the guys I've talked to said they want just a tiny, tiny bit of flip on this tee shot. Kevin hit in the middle, but still an opportunity to get over.
No, yeah, it wasn't a bad shot.
Joey Anderson on the 14th. He's currently tied for 7th at 6 under. Second shot on the par 4.
To throw a second shot from there is a real luxury, Charlie. Beautiful couple of shots there from Joey.
Well, if you didn't see it already, Brian, you got to check out the highlight from Emily Weatherman throwing her tee shot to basically that same spot earlier today. Nate said it was the best drive he's ever seen from FPO on that hole.
And you take any blessing you can get. You throw a drive like that, you got to capitalize. Look at this.
Near circle's edge for Jones, a little bit outside. Well, let's flash back to earlier today during the FPO rounds.
And the backhand here is just absurd in the best possible way.
This is just an amazing shot.
Oh my goodness.
And then it was just a chip up forehand, easy birdie.
Normally the second shot is the most creative thing you could possibly think of on that hole. Throwing a stock shot on the second is so, so nice.
Klein back at the forehand for the second shot.
Oh yeah. Nice neutral, slightly understable approach disc there for Kyle. That's such a good ability to pop the nose up on those flippier discs and control the line.
Buhr going pretty straight at it, and beautiful shot.
That was good. Why was it? No.
That's a lot of the holes in this course. You don't need to do anything crazy. You just have to hit that first tee shot, give yourself a chance. Leaked it a bit too far to the right there. That's a scary putt. Nate, what kind of look does Ricky have from the right side?
It's a little low ceiling. He should have enough height, but he's 48 feet looking straight at the water. Definitely a decision coming up for Rick.
Yeah, we'll see if he wants to get the blood pumping early in the round.
Birdie putt for Anderson after a great tee shot and a nice approach. And he's now tied for 5th at 7 down, 3 shots off the lead. Look at the leaderboard.
This is what I love about this tournament. You get a lot of these guys shining on this course that maybe you don't see all the time week in and week out on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We've seen Harper Thompson before. He plays really solid in these woods courses. He's from Tennessee. Gavin Phillips from Florida. Great to see him pop off a good round there today.
Jones. Oh, and it stands up. And it's going to go out of bounds. It's a bad break for Kevin Jones. Anderson.
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous. Perfect spot there for Anderson. And now here's that 48-footer.
Oh, no. Ricky's finds the tree. Decent effort there from Wysocki. Right on line, just left it a little low, understandably, as Jones cards the bogey. So, bogey start for KJ USA.
You see in a lot of holes with these types of slopes, some sort of barrier protecting you from the rollaway, but on hole number 2, Idlewild, I absolutely love that it's just fully exposed. Such a treacherous green.
Ricky in for par. Ganon Buhr taps in the birdie. And so he is 2 down through 2, as is Kyle Klein. Ilk and Grow. It sat down. He bases it, and he's going to have a drop-in birdie. This is powered by Nakua.
This forehand has come a really long way. I mean, you watched him play at Northwood in 2022. 2 years later, it looks so much more powerful, so much more under control. The man's been putting in work. It's impressive to see him up here on this stage.
He puts it to 1 foot. Powered by Nakua Lifestyle Power. Harvey leaves it a little short. Makeable range.
Oh, yeah. It's going to get a tiny skip. It's pretty lush up there by the basket. Perfect shots that backhand turnover, but the flick does just fine. You know, Joseph Anderson's one of those guys, Charlie, that I would expect to shoot really well here, and it's always satisfying to see those types of players capitalize on a course that matches where they grew up.
Joey Buckets is having a great season so far in 2024.
Another roller from Ganon. Love this. Fantastic. I think he's going to be pleasantly surprised with that. What do you think about the roller here, Charlie?
I think it's a smart play if you have the shot. Just bite off so much distance. We see Kyle going to it as well. He stays higher up on the hill.
There is a Mando up there. He's got to be wary of that. Both decent to average shots for Ricky and Kyle.
Roller for Jones.
Ooh, that's got to cut a lot more. As they walk down the fairway, I want to throw it to Perkins. Perkins, kind of a tough angle to get really a sense of where everybody is on this fairway. Can you talk about what you saw?
Yeah, Kev's roller hit pretty early, so he's going to be way up on the hill. Birdie's kind of out of question for him, but the rollers by Klein and Buhr are certainly going to get both of them into position. I love the play. Kyle kind of laid his down quicker with something a little bit more overstable, where Ganon's throwing that super flippy fairway driver and just laying it down really late. He's 3 for 3 on drives right now.
Just short for Marweed on the long birdie bid. Ezra Robinson a little bit closer, trying to get under par.
Relatively slow start so far, but again, the wind is just blowing enough to affect the putts. You have to think a little bit more.
This is a frustrated wind check after the putt from Robinson. Jones. Very right.
Yeah, not looking crisp so far, but snuck through. I mean, he's outside. Wow. That was a bullseye whisker, Charlie.
Snuck through into the bullseye. Quite the shot there from Jones after a lackluster drive. Anderson makes it 8 down through 15. Now he's just 2 shots off the lead.
Oh, yeah, this is not bad at all for Ricky.
Inside the circle. Tap in par for Marweed. Ilkengro drops it in for birdie after that great forehand approach. Hole 3 playing is the 5th easiest hole on the course. Long putt coming for Klein. Here's Groh on the 5th. Did it fight back in? It did not. Just a little too low.
And that's way back there. Hopefully he hits something on the green side, but we'll see.
Ganon Buhr inside the circle, trying to go 3 for 3 to start here at Idlewild.
It's very interesting and satisfying to listen to him finally say, yeah, I like the way the disc is coming out of my hand. I like the way my putt feels. Yeah, that's Marweed looking at the scoring spread from past years and knowing that 3 plays across the board here on hole number 5.
Just outside the circle, uphill for birdie. Great putt from Kyle Klein. He's 3 for 3. Take a look on the Zuka replay. Excellent focus on the step putt.
That's gorgeous.
Wysocki for birdie. He cashes it in. He's under par. Jones in for the birdie, and we're looking at a star frame here on hole 3. Ganon Buhr to get to 3 under. Easy. Well played hole. Different styles and different shots. And it all ends up with a birdie for our feature card. Back to the 5th. Very early out of bounds for Groh.
Oh, yeah. Showing off the forehand chops early, Charlie. I'm definitely impressed.
Anderson tied for second.
There's always a really pesky crosswind out here. You have to make a pretty conscious read. That is a great green flag. He has so much room to swing the hyzer out now. Well done.
Second shot for Marweed. This time, conservative play working out well. We'll have a short putt for the par. As we take a look at our aerial view of hole 4.
I love this hole, and we're going to get to watch a really unique play if Kevin Jones does what he did in previous years here. It's 220 to clear the water. That's not the problem. You're playing chicken with this gap. You're trying to get as close and as centered as you can to have the easiest up to the basket because these gaps are very tight. The way this is designed is that it wants you to get aggressive and get as close as you possibly can. The more left or right you go, the more pinched off your angle is. A player like Kevin Jones is going to try to stick one in the middle. He doesn't even care how close, and he throws a massive grenade shot over the tree line. This is a truly unique shot, and I'm really interested to see if the wind is right for it. Perkins, what do you think down there on the ground? You think it's possible? You think we're going to see it from Kevin?
Oh, I love his grenade play. If he has, you know, open sky in front of him, I think the play is great. It takes that pond completely out of question. There's really nothing to worry about deep, so I think we'd all love to see it. Fans are lining up for it right now.
Last year, he threw it 400 feet and parked it in the bullseye, going over the trees and over the water, and so we hope we get it again today.
Interested to see how Ganon plays it. Ganon was trying to go massive over the top on hole 8 at Ledgestone last weekend. He's starting to feel more comfortable with those spike hyzer angles. Just needs a little fade. That's a decent angle. I think he could be able, or he can choose between a backhand or a forehand from there. Pretty line. There's a lot of green space, but all the players know that the actual good zone to throw is much narrower than that.
Pretty short there from Jones.
It's going to be tempting. It is going to be tempting for Kevin.
Well, we'll have to see what he decides to do. We're going to go to a quick break, but you won't miss a thing. We'll be back.
What's up, everyone? James Conrad here with Team MVP. I'm just here to chat a little bit about the Detour. It's one of the discs that came out this year in the James Conrad line of discs. I'd say my favorite shots with it are hitting it on a fair amount of hyzer, letting it slowly stand up and finish to the right. We wanted something that was able to be thrown with a ton of power, but something that would also be workable for someone without quite as much power. I think that they nailed it with the Detour.
Support your disc golf game with a brand new titanium sleeve. We import these directly from Finland at high and low compression. Or check out their knee or wrist supports. The only place you can get Tritanium in the United States is right here at PowerGripUSA.com.
Disc Craft, built for flight.
This is Latitude 64. We handle the smallest of grains with the greatest of passion. Always trying to improve, trying to be better, out of curiosity, excitement, out of thrill, for the player, for the game. Because we want to make disc golf awesome for you.
Pound's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be.
I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
All right, here we go. Kevin Jones going to the grenade after the short tee shot. And he gets the green flag, but was that on the near side? I don't think that got across the water, did it, Nate?
I don't think it did, Charlie. Worst case right there.
But he did get the green flag, so we'll have to see where he ended up.
I got to give him kudos for the try, though. I mean,
Just
he was
going
farther
for it.
back than last year. And Klein is a bit too far to the left, so now he's going to have to bend. Pretty technical forehand.
Skips deep into the OB.
That's tough to watch. Really nice line, and now Ricky about to do something similar, but a little bit tighter.
Good shot.
Yeah.
Great shot from Ricky.
Ricky not won this event before. He said he really wants to win this one. Kind of surprised he hasn't, Charlie.
Inside the circle yet again for Ganon Buhr. Let's go ahead to hole 6. Calvin Heimburg off the pace a bit right now. And finds the trees on his approach. So there it is. Jones landed down in the trees. And so has a straightforward approach to the basket from here, although the wind had other thoughts.
Wow, that was really sudden gust for Kevin. That just slammed it down.
Here's Anderson's second on the 16th. Gets the green flag.
Yeah, it should at least be easy up and down there for the birdie. This shot, Charlie, this second shot is so much more challenging than it looks. We'll watch it in more detail. We'll talk about it in more detail when the lead card gets up there, but hole 6, very deceptive. What do you think about the deep OB on this hole? Warranted?
It feels punishing, but I can see that they don't want you to just be able to blast it up there without thinking about it.
And that makes sense to me as well. That does make sense. Now Kevin.
Nice make for Jones. Saves the par. Wysocki for birdie. Circle's edge. Strong side. Knocks it down. Ganon Buhr to make it 4 straight. Weak side, but gets it to go. And he becomes one of just a handful of players to get all 4 birdies on the first 4 holes. Gavin Phillips and Chandler Fry also getting the first 4. Klein to save his par from the OB. And he drops it in right side.
Ganon doing exactly what you have to do on this early stretch of the course. Once you get into the woods, once you start playing hole 6, 7, 8, then things start to get hairy, and one miss by 1 foot can completely change the course of your round. He's got the padding now.
Ilkengrow putting for birdie on the 6th. Got it. 60-footer goes down for Ilkengrow, and he's 2 down.
I mean, is it too early to say there's a delivery coming from the Ilk man? I mean, I don't know. I'm going to call it. Nicely done.
Heimburg from 50. Yes! Calvin Heimburg drains it, and he's 2 down through 6.
.432, sloping down left towards the OB water.
Circle 2 for Ganon Buhr.
He's going to have to flip a coin in his head to see whether or not he runs that putt. Like this idea from Ricky. Play it to the short right side. Give yourself something. Not sure if he's going to go for it from there.
Yeah, and seeing the overhead there of where Ganon's disc landed, I don't think he's going to go for it either with the tree in the way. Nate, how's the wind on the tee here on the 5th?
It's a pretty tough wind. Headwind right to left. If you attack and you show too much ice here, you're going to end up in the drink for sure. And you look down that leaderboard, a lot of people have taken their first double bogey of the tournament here on number 5.
And that's a frustrating red flag for Kyle Klein as his disc lands and stands up and rolls down into the OB. Jones well short. So nobody in position right now for the birdie on the 5th. Only a couple birdies on the hole today, mostly from earlier rounds when perhaps the wind was down. Anderson for eagle.
That's all you can hope for on 16. Eagle putt, but drop in birdie moving into the weird unpredictable number 17, and now long birdie look for Marweed on 6. Not going to happen.
Tap in birdie for Anderson. He's now 1 shot off the lead in solo second. Brian, do you think this 10 under is going to hold up?
I just can't believe that it would hold up. I mean, we've seen players go 12, 13, 14 under par here. And with the way that Kyle and Ganon are starting, maybe the wind is going to play into it when they get out to some of the more open holes later, but I think Ben's going to be really happy with the 10, but I'm not sure he's going to be leading after the day.
Second shot from Jones. Great look overhead of Kyle Klein ending up out of bounds from our Flight Factory drone. Use code LWS24. Get free shipping all weekend at flightfactorydiscs.com. Everybody laying up. Ricky taps in for his par. Jones in for par. Be a bogey for Klein after the OB. And a drop-in par for Buhr.
Things are about to get interesting here at Idlewild. Hole number 6 leads us into the woods.
Second shot for Heimburg on the 7th.
Beautiful shot there. Tough uphill lie. And this is a tricky tee shot, treachery, all down the fairway. I love this play. I love playing to the fat side of the green and not playing for the island. He has a putt.
Just takes out so much of the risk of that hole to play over to that side. Gross second on the 7th.
This is what I'm talking about. This is his bread and butter right here. Awesome shot. Let's see this again. He actually reminds me a lot of Joseph Anderson. Funny enough, we've been watching him on screen all day. Kind of that mixed with a little Tim Barham up from Michigan. I love the way that Ilkin throws. Really nice technical thrower. Now an interesting hole number 6. There's OB long. There's a creek. Kind of runs through the entire hole. Might see Ganon lay down the roller if the wind is right. But it's definitely not necessary.
Right to left wind. 83 degrees, humid here in Burlington, Kentucky.
High side of that hill is tricky.
I had to play it like inside because the wind's pushing. Yeah, that was a good play. It's just like slamming.
It's going to be 150, 200 feet away from the pin, but obstructed.
There we go.
What a shot from Ricky. Huge forehand.
Yeah, he might even get to jump putt that to the green.
Jones going roller.
Oh, just went a little bit too long, and that creek is right there. And now he has a tough up to the basket. A good drive usually puts you in that really uncomfortable range just outside of the jump putt. Beautiful drone shot there.
Almost a carbon copy of Ricky's shot.
I want to throw it to Perkins as they walk down the fairway here. Perkins, is Ganon clear to the green? Is he going to have to get creative?
Oh, he's definitely not clear to the green. He kind of crawled up to the top of the hill, and he's got a wall of foliage in front of him, maybe some airspace up 6-7 feet up in the air. So my guess is he's going to lay something out to 45 feet and try and get his 5th birdie on a longer putt.
Got to make a choice on this shot. This is a true island green.
Back to the 17th. Birdie look for Anderson to get a share of the lead at 10 under. You know it. Joey Buckets reining it in and piling up the birdies.
I just love the play. I love the decision to go right side of the green, not even challenging the island. Makes the shot much easier.
4 straight birdies for Anderson. Here's Heimburg to go back-to-back. And he's got it, so he gets to 3 under.
So yeah, you see here. You see those kind of barricades in the distance. That's the bricks that outline the island green here. Kevin has a tight gap. I think he's safe.
I think he got on to the island there, yes. On the back side, I mean, you rarely see discs over there.
I don't think I've ever seen someone go that direction. That's really creative. Okay.
Hill can grow, tapping in his birdie on 7. So he's now got 4 birdies on the round. Anderson and Callaway tied at 10 down. Freddie Meza putting together a nice round, 6 under through 12. So we'll see what Burr can manufacture from here.
Again, you don't need to make the island. You just need to play short, like Perkins said. 40, 50 footer. Yeah.
It's even closer than that. He's at about 35 feet. And let's take a look at Brian's breakdown, brought to you by Black Ink Discs.
Well, we got 3 days, so I'm just going to zoom in on number 3 right now. Play for looks, not bullseyes out here. There's so many situations on this course where it's so much easier to just put yourself to 40, 50 feet away than it is to actually stick the bullseye, or some of these island greens out here that are manufactured to create that risk reward. So I think there's a wonderful element of scoring strategy out here that the more you play this course, the more you realize that.
Brian's breakdown is brought to you by blackinkdiscs.com, the premium disc golf store. Second shot for Klein. Now, you were talking earlier about why this is a tricky shot. What makes it hard?
All these tight little gaps. You have to land it soft on this turf green. And he was just inside that comfortable jump putt range. But once you get just outside, Ganon himself has said he hates throwing those types of shots. Flex forehand from Grow on 8. That's the line if you have it.
And he has it.
think he camped out at this course knowing that he was going to play on this feature card? You think he just repped the practice rounds? He's playing great right now.
Ricky onto the green. Buhr for birdie from 36 feet. Five under through 6 for Ganon Buhr, who just seems to have an answer for every hole out here right now.
He seems calm, and I love that. I love that he's confident throwing these rollers out here. The putt looks good. The speed looks good.
He's trying to become the first player in MPO to win twice at Idlewild since it came on the tour. And not only that, it would be back-to-back. Kevin Jones shorts the putt and is going to be looking at a bogey. Klein for birdie. Klein now 3 under. And Ricky also sitting at 3 down. Jones in for bogey. He's 2 over, looking a little bit frustrated. Once again, Ganon Buhr just outside the circle. No step needed.
I love the speed to just let the disc drop in on that weak side. Calm. He's moving slow, moving deliberately. And the par on 5 was, you could argue, intentional.
Yeah, not a lot of birdies on 5 with the wind up. So he's mostly had short birdie putts, but that's his first circle 2 make. Hit from about 25 feet on the 4th. Let's go ahead to the 18th. Our co-leader, Joseph Anderson, trying to make it 5 straight birdies to close.
Gotta stripe this one right down the middle. Not gonna happen.
Oh boy.
Tends to happen out here, going for that 3 on number 8. Still in a decent spot. Now Calvin second. This used to be a par 5.
Can't throw it much better than that.
Yeah, some trees have come down, and I think it's appropriately called a par 4 now.
Unlucky, please.
Calling for it to get unlucky, but got some misfortune for it to not be. Perfect spot. This one goes way up the hill to the right.
Oh, nice dip.
Masaki skips it up the hill.
Yes, sir.
Just a tight, staggered gap. Forehand, absolutely the play.
Everybody talking to their discs here. Jones inside and gonna get the red flag.
It's funny to hear Ganon call for his disc to be unlucky. Kyle calling for his disc to just be nice.
Well, Ganon Buhr's on fire. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the start of this round. Bogey free, 5 birdies through 6.
I mean, even this shot, this little baby flex shot with kind of a neutral approach disc that's just flawless. The forehand has just looked really solid for him today. And like he's been saying, nothing he throws is too overstable, too understable, all pretty neutral. Gorgeous putt there on the weak side.
He has not missed a putt yet.
I think we're watching him shift into a new gear. As of very recently, I remember listening to him speak at the Portland Open so positively about his game and being kind of confused in a way. Nice shot there from Kev. Circle's edge. Loved hearing him in the press conference say, well, we'll get to that later.
Nice make from Ezra Robinson for par. One more time. From about 40 feet.
He's such an underrated circle 2 putter. Well done.
Yeah, talking about Ganon, you know, comes out, wins Waco early in the season. And he's playing well, he's finishing in the top 10, but he doesn't win again until Portland. But then he goes back-to-back in Oregon.
It's interesting to hear him talk about his self-talk, his criticism. He really employs what a lot of sports psychologists call mental flexibility, the ability to criticize oneself but not consider it an insult to oneself and carry it with you throughout the round. He's very fixated on improvement, very obsessed with performance, but he doesn't let it really affect him and snowball. Hard to do.
Goes long. Outside the circle. Feels like he was so focused on hitting the gap that he didn't get the speed right.
And that's fine. And that's actually what he was saying. Like, he doesn't care a lot of the times about putting it close. He just wants to advance the fairway, whether it's the first gap or just getting up to the green.
Well, he just hit a putt from that distance on the 6th.
Look at this. Look at this. Little fadeaway. This fairway is really sloped, so your footing is not good. Your weight's being pulled offline. Camera doesn't do it justice.
Ricky hits the tree on the way into the green. Back to the 18th. It's a third shot here for Anderson. Trying to get up and down. That's a very difficult putt from there. Might give one back. Grow. Just rolling on into the circle. On, maybe back out of the circle.
Oh no.
Couple inches left, and that hits the koozie and drops safe. Misaki. Got it! Ricky! He's 4 under after hitting from 60 feet. Take a look on the Zuka replay.
I mean, we can't forget that the man he's playing with right now took a major away from him late in that final round in Europe. This man's out for blood this week, and with Worlds coming up, great putt.
Jones for par. Tickles chains, but not enough. Ganon to go 6 down through 7. Slightly downhill. And it maybe cut through the chains
Cut
there,
through
Brian.
the weak side. I mean, yeah, you could call it a spit out, but definitely was a bit left.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
No contact with the pole. I think that's a coin toss. Maybe a little bit weighted.
But it's not like it rolled off the side of the basket.
Yeah.
It went through the chains completely and spit out the other side.
Yeah. I hope he registers that as a good putt and moves on. He's putted on these baskets before. He knows the sweet spot.
He's talking about how it just went through the chains.
And here's what I was just talking about. He's going to be real frustrated about this one moment, and he's learned to not let it affect him on future shots, which I don't think we can say the same for a lot of players out there. Nice casual bullseye for Marweed. Little headwind here.
That's a great effort from Joey Anderson. But he comes up empty, so he will take a bogey on the 18th. It's going to drop him to 9 under for his day. He'll be one shot off the lead. Calvin Longquist 6 down through 13. Grow for birdie. So after the big birdie putt, Wysocki takes the box on the 8th.
That's a fine spot. Just need to get yourself out there. Can't cut too far to the left. That's why a lot of these players are going with that flex sidearm rather than a backhand hyzer. You need something to kind of flatten and push. Just like that.
Excellent drive from Kyle.
You don't see a lot of this shot forced on tour. The backhand hyzer really puts you in a tough spot. Just a straight up chop forehand.
Beautiful. Jones nearly carving that same line, but clips the tree. Anderson closing out his round. Just 2 bogeys on the day, 11 birdies. So Ben Callaway still holding strong at 10 under at the top of the leaderboard, and he is in the clubhouse right now. Let's hear from Ben.
How was practice for you this week? What were some of your expectations coming into the event?
Practice was actually very good this week. I had 0 expectations, to be completely honest. After Ledgestone, didn't really finish the strongest on the final round. And then I actually had some car trouble, so I had to go home and, take my car in. So I actually didn't get as much practice as I normally do. I didn't get here until the day before the event, which is not a normality for me. I'm usually here, about 2 or 3 days. So I got a couple practice rounds in, felt good about it, and here I am talking to you now.
Well, I just came up to you and congratulated you on the back 9, and you weren't even totally sure what I was talking about. You parred the difficult hole number 10, and then you birdied out. That's something that I don't think has ever been done out here at Idlewild. Talk about how that felt to you.
It felt really good, obviously. I was looking at scores, but I wasn't really paying attention to my score exactly. I was just going to the next shot. Noticed that I was just, on a good heater there and just kept taking it shot for shot, and it worked out quite well.
Well, 10 under par, been one of your highest rated rounds of the season, if not the single highest. Now, what are your expectations moving into the weekend?
Honestly, just rinse and repeat. I really don't want to have too big of expectations for this event. I just want to keep playing this golf that I'm playing right now at this course. It's actually kind of nice momentum for me, I feel, because last year I had two pretty bad round 1 and 2, and then I finished with 13 under par, like course record. I had it for only like 5 minutes because Micah Groth came in with 14 right after that.
Wow, that's right.
And then I followed up, today with a 10 down. So I'm just going to try to keep that momentum going for the next 2 rounds.
Well, Ben, congrats on the round and best of luck to you, man.
Thanks, Nate.
Ben Callaway rocking the Callaway hat, a nice touch. And hey, he's got 2 really good rounds in a row in Idlewild. 13 under last year to close it out, and then 10 today. Klein second, puts him inside the circle.
Another look. Another putt there for Ganon.
That was going to be under it.
It's a really interesting course. I mean, if it's not your day, if you got the Shaquille O'Neal hands on the disc golf course, you're going to be over par out here. You can really struggle, but you can also go as far as 13, 14 under, like Ben said.
Bro able to sneak it through, and it climbs up the hill and right next to the basket.
I don't think people realize how hard this shot truly is. You're throwing well over what it says the hole is, 368. This is closer to 400. You have to get a subtle flip. This is pure. This is as pure as you can throw this shot, and kudos to the catch cam for dodging it.
Some work left for Ricky. Try and save par from circle's edge. Gannon stepping up quickly.
Hit a 36-footer on hole number 6.
Had the weak side cut through on the 7th. Similar distance. Overcorrection.
Yeah, looked a little pulled out of his hand. Pretty much the first putt all day that looked a little bit forced.
Great make for Wysocki. He saves the par. Klein, a chance to pull even with Ganon Buhr at 5 under through 8. He sticks it. So 6 birdies now for Kyle Klein. That's the most anybody's had through 8 holes on the course today. Does have the bogey as well. Sitting at 5 down.
Man, this back 9, you can even include the aceable hole 9. Such an exciting stretch of disc golf.
Second shot for Calvin on the 10th, and just squares up the tree. So now we go to a live shot here of the 3rd. Just about throws it in. Marweed for birdie. Somehow gets it to go. around the tree and through the trees and into the bucket.
I was just about to say this feels like a clown's mouth type putt, Charlie. This looks like it was set up. But if there's anyone to hit a loft putt from this position, this is the guy probably out of the entire division I'd pick. Used to exclusively putt like this.
Also caught some branches on the way in. What a putt. One of the great putters on tour.
Kyle trying to snap a hyzer flip there. It feels like a subtle turn, like a backhand turnover, forehand hyzer flip. I've heard from multiple players that you can make it a lot more simple. It doesn't have to be understable like it seems. But Ricky going overstable, getting caught up a little bit early.
Throw for birdie on 10. Puts it in with some pace. He's at 4 under. Big skip for Ganon, and he'll have a long putt again. He's kind of making himself do a lot more work on the green than he'd like. Beautiful shot from Jones inside the circle. Misfire from Marweed on 11.
Man, this hole feels bad when you miss the fairway on this one. All you have to do is just hit ground. Whatever shot you want, whatever stability you want, just hit the ground.
Putting, but long putt for Groh. Klein's second inside the circle.
Just such a beautiful part of the area, part of the park. You're drawn into some of the most diverse woods golf that this area has to offer. And the community knows it. 250 plus volunteers. Ricky just off the top.
Oh, he thought he had it too. To the 11th. Heimburg. This is the easiest hole on the course, averaging more than a half stroke under par.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to play it. Ganon for birdie from 36 feet. This time, he gets it right and ends his 2-hole par streak with another birdie.
What a tragedy, Charlie. It's over.
Klein for par. I wonder if Kyle's already feeling some pressure from Ganon.
Could be. That was really short-armed and tends to be his miss.
Just looked a little uncomfortable the whole time standing over that.
And for 3-round tournaments, especially at a course like this where, again, you can shoot super far under par, it does start to feel like you're falling behind quick when you miss holes like 9. I mean, this averaged a 2.79, I believe, on the day. You know you're going to get passed up by people.
Ricky drops in for a par. He's at 4 down. So we take a look at the Canna current conditions. Nate, you've been out there all day. How's it feeling this afternoon?
You know, considering we're in the Midwest in early August, I think everyone's grateful for the weather. We've had a lot of tough conditions out here at Idlewild, and, you know, it feels warm. It's mid-80s, and the humidity's up, so it's pretty sticky, and I'm noticing players, you know, go to the chalk or go to the dirt on the ground, but definitely tough to find a grip on your disc today.
Jump putt from Marweed. Really nice. He'll have a short putt for par. Grow for birdie from 30. He is dropping them in today. Ilkman delivers. Ganon now onto that top 10 leaderboard, 6 down through 9. That is the best mark today in the front 9. Ilk and Grow, 5 down through 11, also setting a nice pace on the second feature card.
It's an interesting course because if you walk off the course and you shoot a 6 down, you're not going to feel like it was that terrible of a day. But the winner is not going to be shooting 6 down every round.
What a beautiful shot from Ganon Buhr.
This is the shot that he has gotten the best at over the years. I mean, I wouldn't say he's the best in the field, but now this is a Ganon Buhr type line.
Brian, I know Ganon has not yet won a world championship, but do you feel like at his current level of play that he's the favorite going into Virginia in 2 weeks?
100%. I don't care who designed the course. I don't care who's won majors before. Alden Harris looked at me at the OTB Open and he said, you know what, when Ganon feels confident in his game and he actually thinks he's playing well, I feel bad for the rest of the field. And he looked me in the eye and said exactly that this week. I think he's peaking at the right time.
Look at the size of that gap. I mean, Ganon just laced it and slid the disc up almost to the bullseye.
Here's what makes me laugh. I talked to Rebecca Cox, who's a local here, and she said gaps out here are even way bigger than they used to. And I think this shot from Ganon Buhr would have still pured the hole a decade ago when all those trees were still there. That is flawless. Delighted.
As he should be. We talked about how Ganon has won all but one of the 4 round tournaments this year. He's also on a hot streak. He's won 4 of the last 8 DGPT and major tournaments he's played. His average finish in that stretch, 4.5.
Look at this tight line he has to hit. Yeah, I mean, that was maybe 7 feet across. That's why hole number 10 sees so many bogeys. 67% of the field par, 18% of the field bogey on number 10. Now hole number 12, hard 90-degree turn to the right. You got to get a skip if you throw the forehand. Oh, and Ilkin is going air shot. Challenge that ceiling just a bit too much, but not terrible.
Rick second.
Perfect shot from Rick. What do you think? You asked me that question about Ganon at Worlds. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't see how you can say it's anybody else right now. No one else is playing at this level. I mean, the pressure he applies to everyone is immense. And I think we saw Klein miss that putt just a moment ago because he was feeling like, I got to get this par. 4 under through the front is a great start, and yet both he and Ricky have to be feeling like they're falling behind. It's a nice up, but it will be a bogey for Kyle Klein.
You have to wonder with a player like Rick, does he ever feel like he's falling behind? You wonder how locked in on his own game he is. I'm feeling like right now he's doing just fine.
I think you're right, but how can he not have the final round of European Open in his mind when he basically played perfectly and still couldn't make the comeback?
I'd have to say that's true. I mean, just the sense of urgency he plays with at all times is pretty astounding. So we'll see how the rest of the weekend shakes up. Now Kevin.
That was so close.
He knows it. That's a huge putt uphill.
Maybe an inch low. Buhr for a 16-foot birdie. You bet. Very impressive stuff. We saw Ilken Groh putt from the same distance. Luke Taylor, the only player in the field who got closer than Ganon Buhr. He had a 6-foot putt for birdie. Bogey for Klein. We go to the 16th. Calvin Longquist.
I mean, this is a lawn dart from Calvin Longquist. This kid can throw over 80 miles an hour. Give him the green.
Oh, they psyched us out, but he does get to green.
That should be right in a proper eagle zone. Now Groh. Scared of that tree on the left and yanked it right.
See the players 11 through 20 there. Here's the top 10. Longquist sitting there, 7 down through 15, but Buhr clearly setting the pace for the field right now.
Ganon in the past has played a pretty stable to overstable forehand here. He just tries to bail it out to the right. You really don't want to hit the base of this. It's a pretty annoying uphill putt if it does. Yeah. Yep. 20 feet away for birdie.
Pin high for Kevin Jones.
This is one of the easier holes on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. 2.48 average today. Almost feels like a par 2. You get a 3 on it, you feel like you failed.
That's fine. That's what he paid me was the very last trick on the green. 3 holes and 2 holes.
Kyle looking to shape one of these understable.
Yeah, Kyle.
Approach this. Look at this.
Oh my goodness. Almost got a crazy skip up off the wood towards the basket. He'll have a short putt for birdie uphill.
I will never not love a hole like this. Sprinkled into a Disc Golf Pro Tour course. Give me a hole where the players can get a little bit aggressive and run the ace. And that would have been just a freak ace if he just had a little bit more angle on that skip. Nice little frozen rope from Kyle.
And still about 40% of players not getting the birdie here. It's not It's an easy hole, but it's not a gimme.
It feels bad every time,
Yes,
Charlie.
yes, I believe that.
Every time. But I like that.
Grow. It's going to have a tap in par. Here's Ricky for birdie.
That's going to hurt. He's going to have to work to not think about that one.
Jones. Just inside 30 feet. Sticks it. Trying to fight his way back towards even. Ganon to get within 2 shots of the lead. He is playing on another level right now. Klein in for birdie. Catch up with Calvin on the 12th, second shot. Into the circle. Second shot for Marweed. Even better. Robinson, same hole, second shot. Perhaps even a little bit better. So here it is, Longquist on the 16th. This is his third. This is an eagle opportunity. Dangerous green.
Yeah, I mean, there's OB behind it, too.
It looks like it's stuck.
Oh, his heart almost exploded there, Charlie. I think he thought he had it. Nice try.
That was so close. But still a great birdie opportunity if in fact it did stick up on that plateau. It appeared to.
Eight down through 11 holes. And this is a course where a lot of players leave 18 feeling like a victim, like some horrible fate has come after them. I hit this tree, I hit that tree, I rolled OB. Ganon's pretty much unscathed right now.
Oh, one tree to miss.
One tree to miss, he said. And he's going to be semi-satisfied with that spot. He's going to have to get a little bit creative from back there. Want to push a little bit more forward.
That's good.
Yeah, Kevin wants that big skip, and no, that's one of those trees I'm talking about. Kevin's clipped a few of those today.
Just as a note, Micah Groth, when he set the course record last year with the 14 down, he was 8 under through 9.
Would be great if you could sit down. Okay.
Might end up being a tricky spot with that tree. Ricky.
What? Yeah, I just hit a putt.
As the feature card walks up the fairway, we're going to take a quick break. Ganon Buhr 2 shots off the lead. Ben Calloway out in front, round 1 here at the LWS Open at Idlewild.
Jonathan. Wow!
Jonathan! Skulle visa.
Hi. Yeah, check this pad out.
I think you should use your wrist a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Prince of Southern royalty was born of a plastic stone.
Introducing the Birdie Derby, a ready-to-run tournament package from Prodigy Disc. It's the perfect 3-disc tournament to welcome new players and give experienced throwers something new to try. Learn more and host a derby today at discgolfderby.com.
Edge is a nationally recognized 501c3 charitable organization.
What we do is we empower the teachers with complete programming along with the equipment and a standardized curriculum. So you have a one-stop shop for teachers and youth educators. That's really what Edge is. It makes everything simple for the teacher to get involved with disc golf.
If we want disc golf to be recognized, we need to introduce disc golf to the youth. And if nothing else, they've got a healthy game that they can enjoy with their families throughout the rest of their lives.
Welcome back to Disc Golf Network's live coverage of round 1 of the LWS Open at Idlewild. Ricky, second shot.
What's going on? Every time I get to the green, it just goes sideways, dude.
Hearing a little self-talk from Ricky, starting to feel a little frustrated about the results, and that is pretty standard out here. I mean, again, this is a course that takes a lot of surrender and acceptance. A lot of things you can't control happening out here.
Ganon clips a tree on his approach. One of the few mistakes we've seen all day outside of the green.
Barely too wide. It's about to start hooking back too.
You know, he messed up. I love the self-talk, though. It's all objective. Too wide. I misread the angle of release. I didn't throw it right. There's no subjectivity there. There's no insulting. Make the correction and move forward. He was talking about that earlier this week, how he feels like he's gotten a lot better at sending better imagery to his body.
It also speaks to the level of play, that he's getting frustrated by the very few mistakes that he has. I mean, he's only parred 3 holes. He has no bogeys.
Yeah, I think Holland said it great at Ledgestone last week when she won. She said, you know, isn't it a luxury to be able to get nitpicky about your rounds?
Kyle inside the circle. Let's go to the 17th. Longquist did get the birdie on 16, so it stayed up on the green. Green flag.
That's actually a pretty close putt. Saw him trying to go for that right side bailout, but not bad.
Heimburg gets a green flag.
It's pretty far back. A 3 is going to be tough, but I think he could still make do from up there. About 100 feet away for Ganon right now.
I think he was running it.
I was going to leave the room, Charlie. Just a beautiful stroke from that range. That's standing.
Just to even give it a chance at all from that distance. Most players are just throwing that and sliding it up. Wysocki for birdie. No. That's twice he's thought he had one.
Body language is starting to look a little dejected for Ricky.
Is he frustrated about some of the gallery moving, perhaps?
I don't know.
Klein for birdie to get a stroke on Ganon. Gets it over the cage, left side, sticks.
And you hear him talking to himself. He's still not popping the disc out right now. That one barely leaked over the edge. Looks like the arm's moving forward, but the wrist is not popping with it. Happens when you get a bit tentative.
Oh, and it spits back out on him. Bogey. First of the day for Ganon Buhr. What do you make of that putt, Brian?
I was just thinking in this moment, here's his challenge. Here's his adversity that he's going to have to fight up against. I mean, he has to answer to himself now. Was that a little high? Yes. Okay, move on. Do I want to blame the baskets?
See it here. It just stands up, lands on the cage, and rolls out the front. But it was a little high.
Yeah. Yep.
If you put that 6 inches lower, it sticks every time.
You got to figure out whatever mental gymnastics you can to get past that.
All right, Longquist trying to go 6 birdies in his last 7 holes with this putt.
Yes!
Got it.
So smooth.
Longquist now tied for second with Anderson. And he's got 18 to come. He could get a share of the lead. Calvin Longquist, 7 birdies in the last 9 holes. Just 1 bogey today, back on the 4th.
Man, the first time I saw Calvin throw, I said, when is this kid going to come out here on tour? And it turns out it was this year. Looking forward to seeing his game develop. He has so much talent.
Hails from Corcoran, Minnesota. 1021 rated. His name's been said a few times on Disc Golf Network this year, although he has yet to get a top 10 on tour.
It's just about putting it together.
Best finish, 11th at DDO.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to throwing metrics, spin, speed, he always leaves people with their jaws dropped. Just such a physical talent in this game. That's going to be really nice. Little reverse skip off that slope.
So the lead card sitting in a little bit of a backup right now. We're going to take a break here on the Disc Golf Network. How will Ganon Buhr answer to the spit out? We'll be back.
Not so different from your own. A prince of southern royalty was born of a plastic stone.
It's a new day. It's time to step up and stand out. Crafted in the heart of the sport and worn by the bold. Push forward, play harder, and love your style. because greatness isn't given, it's achieved. Every victory is in the detail, and you wear it well.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
All right, we are back on the Disc Golf Network. Going to take another look at this shot from Calvin Longquist on the 18th. So that's where he was, and now we'll catch up with him on the fairway. Well, we'll get it. We'll get that re-racked and show it to you in just a moment. Here we go. Second shot for Longquist. Tricky spot here, Brian.
Didn't quite get that reverse skip. He's just going to be happy to get out, but that's leaking. Yeah, okay. Decent result. 18, you just got to stripe that thing right down the middle. It's a bit of a dice roll as well. This takes touch. Got to keep your balance. Island green. Nicely done.
I grew up right in
Got word that Ganon was talking about different baskets. Overheard him talking about his favorites and where he likes to hit them, and see if the thought of that spit out sticks with him for the rest of the round, or he can stay focused and put together a heater. Still lots of golf left.
Yeah, Kyle.
All right, there you go.
Could have been even better. Took a little bit of a left kick, but still in a great spot. Excellent drive from Klein.
Oh, what a line from Kevin Jones.
Thanks.
Just faded out a bit early. It's a par 4, but really it just plays as an exceptionally difficult par 3.
Good shot from Rick.
Got to take a breath here.
That's OB. Hit something.
It's sliding left, it's sliding long, and it is out of bounds.
It's wild for him to call that so far back. It's 584 with trees scattered all throughout the fairway.
He instantly knew that it was going to be too long and too left.
Almost got a little
bridge almost saved him.
But still, 45, maybe 50-footer to the basket to save par, or actually to save birdie, considering it being a par 4.
immediately knew it. Waiting for the flag, and he did get the red flag. To the 13th, birdie putt for Heimburg, who's starting to heat up a little bit in the middle of this round. Not that time. Air ball for Ezra. Wonder if the conditions affecting him a little bit.
I mean, being from Georgia, I can't imagine that being such a foreign thing for him, and it looked more like a tentative putt, and we've seen him do that in the past. His putt, however, from Circle 1 has come so far, but no one's immune to losing their confidence for a split second. You know, it's so funny, we're thinking back to that Ganon shot, calling himself out of bounds right away, and then going 584 up the fairway. I was playing one of the first Ledgestones at McNaughton Park. Paul Yulbar is on my card. Releases a 60-foot putt. Instantly out of the hand, says, that's spitting out. Hits the center pole, spits out. I'm left with my jaw dropped. He's chuckling.
No.
Tough day for Kevin. Just not looking crisp. Just doesn't look like he's found the release point today.
Don't hit that.
Great up from Wysocki. Gonna have a tap in birdie. Frustrating day out on the course.
It kind of goes that way out here. Just, I don't know, like I said, there's just a lot of surrender and acceptance that you have to cultivate to play well consistently out here. You know, disc golfers don't like the idea of having to roll the dice. And out here, there's quite a few opportunities to do that. Or maybe not opportunities, but places you're forced to do that. And off to the left is the old position. That's where they used to play to. So again, was so frustrated, didn't quite get the flip he wanted. This at least playing a bit more like a true par 4. I like that he's taking his time here. He's giving this shot respect. Can't take any tiny shot here for granted.
He's had a couple times today where he's definitely gone past the 30 seconds. But it pays off this time. Great shot. Hits the koozie. He'll have a nice par save.
You know, Charlie, as we're talking about that, and we're watching Calvin throw his shot on 18, when a player gets to a position like this, what do you think about the time extension rule that's being implemented in the future?
With the timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a fine option if time is being managed consistently throughout all rounds. And if you go past your 30 seconds, you're getting warned. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what it means to take a timeout if you can just go to 45 or 60 seconds without repercussions. But I'm curious what you think as somebody who's played at the professional level.
Well, let's give some respect to Calvin, and then let me share with you what I think. Calvin just really struggling to get through hole number 18. He's just ready to be done with this hole. It was such a solid round for him. Yeah, and as we watch Klein throw his up, I actually think just the changing of language to say, instead of saying, hey, you're playing too slow, speed up, you can say, do you need to take an extension? And you ask the question of the player, and now it quantifies the times that they can actually take a long time. I actually think it might have a lot of positive benefits, avoiding those annoying interactions with the players. It's less combative.
I believe this is for 6 for Longquist. He sticks the putt, and we'll see what it's recorded at on his scorecard, but after such a great back 9, that'll leave a little bit of a bitter taste in his mouth going into the second round. Klein in for par. Longquist took a 5, so just a standard bogey. He will be at 8 under going into round 2. Tap in for par for Buhr. A nice birdie for Ricky. That's Rick's first birdie since hole 7. He's at 5 under.
Callaway's just got to be sitting there on his couch just smiling. No one's catching me, huh? Okay. I'll keep first place.
Might happen.
And again, like you said, this is a guy that has some momentum on this course. 13 down his final day last year, and then now a 10 down here. He's clearly figured something out.
At this point, really only Ganon Buhr has a chance to catch him at 10 under. Unless we see a real hot streak from Kyle Klein or a Ricky.
Calvin's second on 14. That is just fine.
Marweed putting together a nice round.
This is the high side of the hill, and this gives him a chance from circle 2. There's so much temptation to run the green and hop the creek there. I want to ask Nate Perkins, as we're flying this beautiful drone shot here, why do you think there's so many unique winners out here at Idlewild, Nate? Does it speak to the randomness of the course? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it's the variance here at Idlewild. It's also the type of course where if you can throw accurate shots out there at 330 to 350, which a lot of people can do, then you can score on most of the holes. And you can't say the same thing about other Elite Series events. You really have to shape premium lines out there closer to 500 feet on a regular basis to be in contention. So I think there's a place for courses like this on the Pro Tour. What do you think?
I mean, I think there always is space for this type of golf in the disc golf world, and I would argue that there should be more of it. James Conrad, 2017 champion again. First victory there. Paul Macbeth, no surprise, winning on a course like this. It takes a creative scrambler to do well here. An aggressive scrambler as well. Eagle McMahon, you know, not necessarily known for woods golf, but outrageously successful when scrambling out of position. Klein making history for his career. I mean, this is a springboard, just like you said, Charlie. Well, now it's funny. Ganon told me earlier in the week at the press conference that him and Isaac have new motivation to keep winning at this tournament. They want to keep it in their friend group. They don't want to give this trophy to anybody else from here on out.
Is it okay if I sit here, you guys, on the corner?
Yeah, no problem. I don't mind.
A little bit of a backup on the 14th, so we'll go ahead on the fairway. Milk and Grow throwing his second shot.
Oh my goodness, what a shot.
He has thrown some fantastic forehands today.
And it's funny because when I was first studying his game, kind of learning how he threw, backhand was the thing that impressed me most. And now, just like you said, Charlie, showing it off from both sides. Little nose up floater from Robinson. 20-footer.
And then he throws a little putter.
What's up? Yeah, boys are bad attitude. BJ voice.
I want to throw it to Perkins. Perkins, the tee shot here on 14 is so tough. We're seeing a lot of players throw these really corkscrew turnover backhands. Talk about the shape.
Yeah, this is one of the classic gaps here at Idlewild. I think it's a hole that a lot of people think of. There's one field goal that you're trying to hit, and the difficulty is that it's staggered. So the trees aren't parallel with each other. First tree on the right is where most people kick and end up in real danger, and the gap is only maybe 8 to 10 feet wide. You hit it, you're in the clear. Most people are going forehand here, but every now and then there's a special backhand that gets all the way down to the flat. We saw Emily Weatherman throw the best shot in FPO history this morning here on this hole.
It's another one of those shots that, yeah, feels like a dice roll. You hit the initial gap, and then you just put your hands together and pray and hope that it sneaks through. But I wouldn't say it's ill-advised.
On the green, Ezra Robinson for birdie. He's way off right now.
He's quick. Just no power behind the putt. Not sure if it's just tension. He's stressed. Not like the putt we're used to seeing from Ezra this year.
Taps it in for par. Marweed in for par. And Calvin going to get the birdie, dropping it in to get to 6 under.
You can do it. I believe you.
Interested to see where that ends up. There's not even really a pitch out opportunity from that spot. Trying to throw these really specific hyzer flip forehands that don't necessarily get to flat. And that is a classic miss on 15. One of the most treacherous tee shots on the course. See how Ganon's forehand fares here. He tries to just throw that comfort zone flex shot. Makes the window much smaller, and that's the miss.
So Buhr slowing down. Grow on 15.
I mean, he had advanced the fairway. I think he's going to be grateful that he didn't kick into the abyss. And this is where things get hairy. Pitching out doesn't do you a lot of good. There's still trees scattered all about the fairway. And looking at the stretch that Callaway had, 11 through 18, just starting to look that much more incredible when you watch the players attack these holes. Yeah, that's good. That's real good.
Should be able to get up and down for par.
It's definitely less menacing out here than it used to be, and just the natural order of things, underbrush getting trampled down, trees falling. Scrambling has gotten a bit easier out here. This is a really overstable disc that Ganon's going to chop here.
some adversity for Ganon. To the 15th, Robinson. That's smashed up the middle.
Such a hard tee shot, especially committing to the backhand. It's such a tight, staggered window, and you have to get the disc to flip a little bit. You're throwing it so far uphill. Yeah, alignment on the tee pad was perfect. That was a thing of beauty there for Ezra.
Third shot for Ganon.
So this is where you get tempted. You're top of the hill. You see all these little gaps. There's a creek you have to hop if you want to get to the green, so you have to make a conscious choice. How bad does he want this?
That was perfect. Gosh, dude.
3 tree hits for Ganon Buhr.
He said it felt perfect. I'm wondering if he was trying to cut the corner on one of those smaller gaps. Interesting. And this kind of stuff can happen 4, 5 times in a row where you're throwing these exhausting shots. And it wears on you mentally no matter who you are. I mean, look at where Kyle is. He has no access to the basket. A pitch up to the flat is there. He doesn't want that. He wants to give himself a look. He sees Callaway at 10.
Oh, and he just clips the last tree.
One fucking thing you can't hit every hole.
Man, I've heard that phrase hundreds of times playing out here. That one tree.
I don't think that's quite what he said, Brian, but I get the gist.
For the kids.
Yes. Calvin. Now Marweed.
See what kind of forehand he manufactures here. That big tree in the right pinches the window a bit. Circle 1. Great shot.
All right, so now Ricky in trouble here on the 14th. What is he going to try?
The experienced play.
Pitching out to the fairway.
Keep the blood pressure low. He's going to have a look.
Okay.
Grow, third shot on 15.
Push. Forward. Push.
Gets it to about 28 feet. Totally still back in these woods. 6 o'clock here in Kentucky.
Ooh. Ilkin Grow, entertainer, disc golfer, all-around good guy. Nate, I want to ask you, what's the energy like in the card? I feel like we're starting to hear quite a bit of self-talk come out of these players. I feel like it's pretty standard out here at Idlewild.
Yeah, there's been some frustration for sure when you start hitting those trees later in the fairway that kind of feel like they're out of your control. You know, Kevin Jones has been visibly frustrated all day, and Ganon has definitely started to become visibly frustrated these last few holes, especially after that spit out, and he's in a tough spot right now over on the right side. He's going to have to get crafty.
And he did. He really did. I mean, you see all these little gaps in the trees? That's exactly what Ganon's facing looking at the basket. 15-footer.
That will be for bogey. Ricky pitches up. He'll have a par. Kyle ended up in the OB. And you can understand his frustration. I mean, he throws a super clean shot. Last tree kicks him into OB. If he doesn't hit it, he's probably parked. 60-footer. Nope. It's going to be a double bogey for Kyle Klein. Second shot for Robinson on the 15th.
Very, very well done on 15.
Third shot for Heimburg. Just got to get a little creative.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
The second shot is so far uphill. So hard to get any weight behind the shot.
Buhr in for bogey. That's his second in the last 3 holes. So he's going to drop back to 6 under. And Ben Calloway's 10 down is looking like it's going to stand up as the best round here on Friday at Idlewild.
And he very easily could get joined by Ganon Buhr, who he's watched grow up and evolve as a player, playing all sorts of tournaments around the Iowa area before both of them went out on tour.
Heimburg cards the par. Just want to quickly go back. Ricky laid up, took the par, picked up a stroke on Ganon and 2 on Kyle. Pitching out from the woods, ending up looking like the best option. Marweed for birdie to get to 6 down.
Just a nice quiet charge from Marweed.
And imagine if he had taken a birdie on hole 1 or just a par.
And I don't think he's going to have any temptation to go for the eagle on 16. He's just going to chip some forehands in bounds. I think this could be a nice sneaky finish here for Andrew.
Bro in for par. Ezra Robinson in for the birdie. No putting necessary. Well, let's take a look back at some of Kevin Jones's history here on 15. It's not the happiest history.
I mean, listen, I know he's having a tough round today. This almost feels like insult to injury. It just happens sometimes. Sometimes there's a hole that just doesn't make sense to you and you just can't get it right. But again, the luxury to be on the camera card and play well enough to have all these shots. We love you too.
That is carved into this tree. Can Kevin miss it this time? He can. It's a little bit low, but
Totally
he'll be happy
fine.
to be in the middle.
Totally fine. Again, 15's only 487. Plays so far uphill, maybe plays 587, but that second shot's just fine for Kev. Gorgeous. Nice shot. Anywhere in this fairway is totally fine. Don't need to get too picky. I'll have to get a little bit creative from there. Like Perkins was saying about these staggered gaps with one tree being closer to the player than the other, it makes these windows tighter depending on what shot you pick, and backhand is definitely a tighter window here. That's fine.
Fairly kind bounce as they go for Kyle Klein as we go to the 16th.
Not a lot of shots out here. Thrown backhand by Marweed, but this one was striped.
Kaiser Robinson had a huge tee shot on the first. What can he do here on 16?
Sit for him. Sit for him.
Yeah. There's usually a massive crosswind going right to left on this hole. Looks a little bit more tame than previous years. Grass looks a bit more lush. A low line drive thrower like Calvin is just eating this second shot up for breakfast. He doesn't need to bite off anything off the tee. He can still get an eagle look from back there.
Goes with the high hyzer. Puts it in the middle.
Oh boy. Wow. I've been back there, Charlie, and it's not easy. That is a beautiful shot from Kyle.
Ganon parks it. Great shot. One more time. Kind of has to curtail his swing because of the tree in the backswing. Not a problem.
And you see just by the flight of this disc, what he's throwing is so overstable. I mean, he's just throwing a fastball, high arm slot, getting it out in front of his body.
Ricky finds an early fairway tree. So we take a look at Brian's breakdown for closing presented by Black Ink Discs.
Yeah, we'll go quick on this one. I mean, 16, 17, 18 can make or break your round. On 16, again, like I said, trust that crosswind, find your reference points, and stick that first one in bounds. 17, it feels like you're pulling the slot machine handle. I mean, you throw the best shot you possibly can, play to the safe side, just accept whatever happens. And then 18, that shot is so specific. And if you're not directly in the middle, that birdie is not easy to get. Make sure you got a disc that flies that shape.
And that Brian's breakdown is presented by blackinkdiscs.com, the premium disc golf store. Calvin, 7 birdies, 1 bogey today. Oh, Ricky.
I am having to think he's hurting right now. I think he's feeling some pain. He does not miss 2 of those shots in a row.
Klein, just outside the circle. A lot of frustration on the card today. Calvin, meanwhile, is just chilling. Waiting for the backup to clear.
That's all he ever does. Actually,
some fans hanging out here.
If you're a mushroom hunter, like Calvin Heimburg is, there's a lot of lion's mane mushrooms out there on the course. There's some spots for some good eating.
Ricky in for the bogey after back-to-back tree hits on his approach shots. Klein for par. Here's Calvin. Second shot on the 16th.
Well, that's pleasant.
Yeah, that's quite the shot there. He'll be putting for eagle. And that would really kickstart a hot streak for him.
I mean, only 4 eagles on the day so far. Montgomery, Welk, Fish, Burridge.
You mentioned the mushrooms. I was on a mushroom foraging tour a few months ago, and I learned that one of the ways that you can try to ID mushrooms is to take a bite of them and chew them. And as long as you don't swallow it, you like won't be poisoned by it if it's a toxic mushroom. But I was thinking to myself, who would do that?
Well,
who would take that chance?
Charlie, everyone knows every mushroom is edible at least once.
That's right.
Interested to see if Marweed goes for this, the forehand. I could see him just being satisfied with. Okay, he is going backhand, going to ride that crosswind. Got to keep this one a little bit low if you want to get aggressive, but going high. That's just fine. Up and down for birdie ahead. That's far enough. Still going to be a ways from the basket. These turf greens that they've set up for holes like 16, 6, quite slick. It's not like you're going to get a nice soft landing on them. You have to worry about the way your disc lands on that surface. Such a beautiful shot here. Just an iconic par 5. Relatively unchanged.
Yeah, it's a great gentle downhill hole. Interesting green. Eagleable, but a difficult eagle. Pretty much a perfect par 5.
You get fired up. You throw your tee shot, you step up. It's a very in-between distance most of the time. Let's take a look at this birdie zone. And here's the thing. Even if you're on that front side of the birdie zone, in that yellow, because it slopes downhill, you can put a little bit of turn on the shot and actually ride it all the way down to the green. Some of the coolest, most exhilarating shots you'll throw on the Disc Golf Pro Tour come from trying to get aggressive on this second shot.
A couple holes like this at Maple Hill that are easy to remember. That purple is the eagle zone, but the yellow is the birdie zone, and that birdie zone is brought to you by Birdie Pro, the best-selling disc golf board in the world. Get yours at your favorite disc golf shop or BodaBrothers.com.
A lot of players use this tree on the right side as a reference point, especially when the crosswind kicks in. Yeah, that's just fine. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. He's still a ways from the basket. He's going to have to worry about these tight gaps. Yeah.
Very nice shot, and it'll be a tap-in birdie for Robinson. Groh will also have a birdie putt. An option to run it here for Andrew Marweed.
Here's a fun one.
Does he have a window?
Well, we saw him drop one in on 10.
Maybe he can go hyzer here to get to 8 under.
He's going to have to ride this crosswind.
Give it a chance. Calvin a couple steps closer, and maybe an opportunity to go straight through these trees to get within 2 of the lead. And you wonder if the wind just pushed that off the line. That was close.
Needed to play just the tiniest bit more of turn to get it slammed down in the basket.
Wind really ripping as he let this go.
Decent bid. But again, tap-in birdie on this is just fine.
Groh in for the birdie. He's at 6 under par, tied for 11th. Calvin gets to 7 down. And Marweed in for birdie. And Robinson taps in birdie. So star frame for our second feature card. And everybody playing well on that card. We're going to take a quick break. We will see the conclusion of this first round right after this.
Suka cards are made to fit you.
And we have the accessories to prove it. Rainy, umbrella holder, or a rainfly.
Got a good grip? So do we.
Drink and snacks, pouches and drink holders.
Boom! Turn your seat into a sofa.
Put your putters in a pouch.
And extra room for anything else you need. Make your cards yours.
With Zuka accessories.
OTB is very specific on how they list the disc because they want you to like the disc.
Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
Not just marketing.
It's only the best.
Introducing the Birdie Derby, a ready-to-run tournament package from Prodigy Disc. It's the perfect 3-disc tournament to welcome new players and give experienced throwers something new to try. Running a Birdie Derby is a great way to engage your local community and discover new discs in a ready-to-go package. Learn more and host a derby today at discgolfderby.com.
DGN's coverage of the LWS Open in Idlewild, presented by Dynamic Discs, and the Natty continues. Andrew Marweed on the 17th.
OB Creek running through the entire fairway here. You can't get too cute with this shot. It's so easy to kick into the OB. Robinson going straight at it. Skips off the bridge. That's going to be out of bounds. A lot of players we're seeing successful on this are going forehand and chipping it off to the right. Just trying to give themselves a 30, 35 footer. We've seen people stick the island, but it is not necessary.
Calvin playing to that wide right side.
Yeah, exactly.
Slight downhill putt from circle's edge. Well, can Ilkengrow do it in one shot? This is the One Shot Energy's One Shot Challenge hole. And you can go to oneshotenergy.com and use code DGPT to get 25% off.
You know, I think doing it in 2 shots is just fine. That's a local move.
Second shot for Ganon on 16. Swinging it way out to the right side. Gets the green flag.
Yeah, that's a fantastic shot. Putting for eagle. 41 feet. Now we got a long birdie from Marweed. This looking like 55 feet.
Lined it up.
A lot of gentle scores here. One player in the double digits so far. Robinson for par after going out of bounds. Just hasn't been a great putting day for Robinson. Kind of a bland day to his standards out there on the course.
There were 17 players double digits under par in the final round of Idlewild last year. I think some of that has to be the wind today, being a little bit more up. Add some teeth to some of these holes. Rowe can't get the birdie to stick.
And this is to, at least for the time being, put him ahead of Ganon Buhr.
Everyone leaves it low. That was very low from Heimburg. So after a star frame, everybody shorts the putt.
It's funny, this point in the round, you start to see every single player just look exhausted walking through this course, moving real slow. Everyone on these cards has had at least 2 or 3 bad breaks.
Back to 16. Eagle bid for Buhr. 41-footer.
Inches.
Dead center straight. Watch it again. And the bottom just falls out.
I mean, it looked like a committed effort from Ganon. It didn't look like he short-armed it by any means. Just looked like a wrong decision on the release.
Also an eagle bid here for Klein. Couple steps outside the circle. There it is, Kyle Klein. Eagle on 16. It gets him back to 5 under. And he gets those 2 strokes from 14 back.
Yeah, this release has been dialed for Kyle. Just slight hyzer, flat. Really nice. I love how the disc doesn't have too much nose angle, nose up, nose down.
So Ganon's going to take the birdie. He gets to within 2 shots of the lead with 2 holes to play. Heimburg starting to make a move. If he can pick it up in the front 9 tomorrow, he could find himself near the top of the leaderboard.
Well, I mean, look at Ben Calloway's front 9.
Great point.
He only went 3 down.
He actually bogeyed the 9th. He only went 2 down. And then he got 8 birdies in a row to close out his day.
Kyle safe.
Fortunate green flag in that case.
Take whatever you can get on this hole. There's a clear line, but there's so much just throw and pray on this. Yeah, that's the common play. The way players have played this has changed so much over the years, and now we're finally starting to see the hole get solved, and I think a couple trees have come down, it seems like. Let's open the lineup just a little bit. But at least it's playing like a legit par 3. I mean, there was times when, I believe at one point it was a par 4, and it was sub 300 feet.
Might make sense for a local track, but not for a Pro Tour course. So we go to the 18th, Andrew Marweed. Trying to lace this gap. And a good kick back to the middle.
Gonna have a look at birdie. As long as you're in the middle. It's not that far. 650.
This is one of Calvin Heimburg's best skills.
You have to keep it really low to this hill. You can't go too much higher above that. That's not terrible.
Just a little too much fade late.
If the power forehand feels good, he could bite off quite a bit on the second. Oh, look at this silky smooth line from Ilkin. Creamy.
That's what you expect from the Ilk man. Ezra Robinson, last at tee. He's had to fight through some poor putting today and is still in a pretty good spot at 5 under.
Oh, that is getting out the gap. Look at this. Oh, so close. I mean, that's the last tree in the gap.
Might still be able to step around and get a clean shot to the tee from there. Klein just shorts it. And you wonder if fatigue is coming into play a little bit on these late holes as we see some of these slightly low putts. Ricky, great putt.
He heard you.
6 down.
Yes, as we watch Rick make this beautiful putt here. I want to throw it to Perkins. Perkins, you've played Idlewild extremely well. This is one of the courses I feel like you've played the best at in your career. What are you noticing in these players? Are they just losing steam over the course of this round? What is it that Idlewild does to you out here?
Yeah, it's really requires a lot of mental fortitude, and you expend a lot of mental energy when, you know, you get a rise after you get a kick or a little spit out, or you roll down the hill and you're no longer in birdie position. And I think a lot of wooded courses do that to players, and especially when it's so short and so techy and you feel like you need to birdie every hole, it's just going to chip away at your mental strength. And by the end of the day, if you're left with nothing, you're gonna struggle, especially when you get up to 18 and you have to hit that final tee shot. And yeah, it's also the heat out here today, Brian.
Buhr missed the birdie putt short. He's in for the par. Klein in for his par. Back to 18.
So Marwi does have enough space to throw the forehand. He's going to have to flip it up slightly. It's up there.
Might have a long look for the birdie.
Big opportunity to get to 7 down. Going to round 2, top 10. That's another delivery there, Charlie. Beautiful shot.
Under the basket. And a really nice effort today from Ilken Groh. I mean, not somebody who's going to get onto a lot of feature cards, but here he is. Junior world champion a couple years ago, amateur champion, and he absolutely held his own out here.
Absolutely. And I think this is a round he should be very proud of, and he represented his city today. It's not easy to come to a course you're very familiar with in tournament settings and actually put together a good round.
As Robinson inside the circle. Take a look at our leaderboard. Ben Calloway, Joey Bucket's going to be on the lead card tomorrow. See what happens with Ganon. May well be there as well. Greg Barsby, be a fun lead card. Garrett Gerthy, 6 down today. Drew Gibson. A lot of folks at 5 under. And any of those players could make a move tomorrow.
What's to say Ben stays at 10? What's to say he doesn't shoot a 5 down and one of these guys shoots a 10? I mean, we could see a huge shakeup at round number 2. It always happens out here. That's why we've had so many unique winners. A little flick putt territory here for Marweed. Would love to see this one go in. Little headwind. One of my favorite shots to see go in, Charlie. Nice attempt. Like I was saying earlier, 250 volunteers coming out here, spending their time to make this event happen. Big shout outs to everybody that's made this event happen, whether it's the local organizing committee, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and all the other people in between.
Calvin knocks it down on the 18th. So a birdie for Heimburg on 18 gets him to 8 under. He finishes with 9 birdies on the round. Has Robinson in for the birdie to get to 6 under.
That's a great birdie to finish. That is a day to be proud of for Ilken Grow.
Grow tied for 9th, 7 down. Marweed to stay in that group. And he knocks it down. So a really nice day from our second feature card. They picked it up in the middle of the round and as a group played quite well.
Are you not getting excited already, Charlie? Look at this compression up towards the top. This is going to be a great weekend of disc golf here.
I mean, we see, you know, that logjam at 5 under means that there's 32 players right now within 5 shots of the lead.
And we've seen 5 shots dissolve in a matter of 2 holes. And there's Ricky's experience shining through. I mean, nice slow disc, put a little flex on it. Some a little grimace there.
Yeah, he is not looking 100% at all.
And what I've seen when Ricky gets hurt, he leans more on the flex. He tries to keep the arm motion very still, let his hips and his back kind of do the work. So we'll see how he adjusts if he continues to play. I played with Ricky at the Memorial one year when he was first dealing with a big Lyme's flare-up in his hip, and every hole he was lying down and an athletic trainer was massaging his hip before every tee shot, 11 under par.
Wow.
Just leans on the flex, doesn't snap the disc too hard. I mean, this guy knows how to score in literally any condition.
But you worry, don't you, about him making it worse before the World Championships?
You do wonder. You do wonder. And you wonder how much he's actually going to give off. How much he's actually going to tell.
Let's take a look at 18.
Well, we just watched with Ganon, and Kyle. This is a tough tee shot. I mean, this yellow brick road right in the middle of the fairway is showing you the way, and that's ideally where you want to land your drive. If you're too far off to the left, too far off to the right, even if you're in the fairway, the look to get out this gap is not easy. Birdie here is prime real estate. Second hardest hole in the course, 4.11 average. This tree stump right there on the right made the hole even tougher than it is now. If you want to miss right. Gives yourself an opening to throw that wide hyzer forehand. Also lets you stretch out a backhand with something a little bit slower. It's just a really tough shot. After all these holes, all the mental fortitude you have to expend, or mental energy, you have to throw this shot.
Made it most of the way back. But a lot of work still to do for Ganon Buhr.
We could see him drop off the lead card tomorrow. Just a slow finish.
He's even since hole 12. Klein. Nice out.
Up and down, get out here with a mediocre round. There's much bad stuff. Nothing bad news that happened.
You agree with his assessment?
I think to his standards, a 5 is an exceptionally mediocre round. I mean, he left some strokes out there, but like he said, he got the eagle on 16. He mitigated the damage. Nice shot there from Kevin Jones. Never too late to throw a shot like that.
But Kevin Jones has really fought back. He had 4 bogeys in the first 7 holes and has since been bogey-free with 4 birdies and in a great position to make it 5 and get to 2 under.
This is going to be about a 350-foot flex sidearm if he can pull it off. Gotta go high. Didn't quite get the angle right, but he's out there. That's likely to be a bogey to finish and not going to leave a nice taste in his mouth. Just needed to get it higher. A little bit steeper angle.
And you wonder if those branches made it get a little too stable too soon. And just so hard on himself. Wysocki. Beautiful. Can't play the hole much better than that.
No. A great finish from Rick. I mean, like you said, he's clearly in some pain. It's great for him to come out here, shoot a good round. He's putting for birdie from 20 feet. And with Ganon, like you said, hole 12 was when everything started to stagnate, and I wonder how frustrated that spit made him. I wonder if he kind of broke character and finally let that carry to future holes. As we line up discs right now, Nate, any final thoughts, any final words about what you saw out there today?
Yeah, it seemed like nothing was really going to get in Ganon's way today, and as you said, things started to unravel for him midway through this round, and it just shows you that, you know, no matter how good you are, that you still have to navigate this course, and you're going to face some adversity no matter what. So always an entertaining round of disc golf here at Idlewild.
Yeah, that's going to be a bogey for Ganon.
So dumb.
Ricky knocks it down, said it was for par. But unless I missed something, that was a birdie putt. Klein to save his par. And he is in, so he will finish at 5 down. They reclassified Ricky's putt as a birdie, so he finished with 3 straight birdies to close out and finish at 7 under. And Buhr will also finish at 7 under after he takes a bogey here on 18. And a good finish for Kevin Jones, although it was a bumpy round today. He finishes at 2 under par. So your lead card for tomorrow: Ben Callaway, Joey Anderson, Greg Barsby, and Calvin Heimburg. It's going to be a lot of fun. Harper Thompson also sitting there at 8. Gavin Phillips, Calvin Longquist, Ricky Wysocki, Ganon Buhr will be on the 3rd card. And it's kind of hard to believe that after what we saw from him earlier today as we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. I mean, Ganon Buhr looked unstoppable through the front 9. And then, not that he's out of the mix, not at all. He could still win this tournament, but he really started to spiral late in that round.
And I think Nate hit the nail on the head. It happens. And I think every top athlete has a breaking point. Some have really tough shells to crack. And Ganon, I think, as of late, has a tough shell to crack. It's been pretty impressive to watch him handle adversity the way he has. But today, it feels like on hole number 12, that spit just finally got to him, cracked him out of that flow, and it was just tough for him to score after that. And it happens.
I mean, how about the top of this leaderboard? Ben Callaway, that 10 that set very early today, holds on. Joey Anderson right there. Calvin fights all the way back up to a good spot. What do you make of our leaderboard right now?
Barsby makes sense to me. That's a no-brainer. If he's feeling the release points on the forehands, it's game over. Joseph Anderson, like I said earlier in the day, he's this kind of player. He loves this kind of golf. He eats it up. Calvin, I think it just depends on how he's feeling with his equipment that week. Ben Callaway, I'm very curious. He's one of those perfectionist shot shapers. He likes to get really specific with his lines. I'm curious to see what percentage of backhand forehand he throws off the tee, because he leans on the backhand, doesn't like his forehand most of the time. We'll see.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side, it's Tournament Central time. So join us for that if you're a DGN Pro subscriber. If you don't have a subscription yet and you're watching on YouTube, now's a great chance to sign up, get 25% off your first month with code DGN25. There's a look at your leaderboard. We'll be right back with Tournament Central.
Pound's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be. Let's start from the beginning. I didn't choose Pound, I chose Levi. I trusted Levi to make the best bag possible.
He's always trying to innovate. He wants it to be perfect. And I think he's the kind of guy that nothing's ever perfect.
I trust the product. I trust the people behind the product.
At this point, I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
Ricky. What? What just happened? Wysocki blows up the basket on the 16th. I don't know what that is, but it definitely bombs.
Prince of Southern royalty was born for plastic stone.
Ricky, distance driver in hand. What? What just happened? What just happened? Wysocki blows up the basket on the 16th. I don't know what that is, but it definitely bombed.